What's up? Welcome back to another episode of Diggity. I am Brody, or as Jeff will call me, the luscious Brody. I don't like referring to myself like that because it feels fucking weird. But tonight I am joined by the ever wonderful Nick from WASD.
Hello, how's it going?
Today was a wild ride, but how are you?
Good. How many hours of work do you have in today?
12. Got to answer a first responder call.
You were telling me about that a little bit.
I got to climb 11 flights of stairs 6 times today. 11 flights one way. Today I'm fucking beat, man. I'm drinking a bang and it's 9 o'clock at night. It was a day.
How are you gonna go to sleep? That's my thing here. Like, today was already a crazy day in and of itself for reasons that I'll joke about in a few minutes. But which we're gonna get flack on. It's your show. I'm so sorry. Jeff's gonna be like, "Oh my god," but It's funny. I promise, Jeff, it's funny.
He's Canadian. He'd say the same shit.
All right, good.
Like, they have a little bit of respect there, but not much.
This much. So like for me, right? Like I could drink copious amounts of coffee.
Yeah.
Doesn't affect me.
Yeah.
It doesn't get me that like high that other people get when they drink coffee or like a Monster or Red Bull. Like my wife drinks fucking Red Bull like it's going out of style. But if I had a bang, that shit just... Is there creatine in that?
I think so.
Yeah, that shit makes me fucking like itchy.
It shouldn't.
It does. Creatine itself, like whenever I drink creatine, like when I was doing pre-workouts and like creatine and all that, I was itchy and hot.
It's not the creatine in pre-workouts that does that.
What is it?
It's the beta-alanine. Alanine? Beta-alanine?
All right, so if I were to flex, it just falls over. When you flex, it fucking gets hard. So, like, there's a reason I don't know that. I thought it was the creatine. Anyways,
it's
Brody.
not creatine. Anyway.
Okay, whatever. Not a fucking workout podcast.
Could be.
You could be. What, you can make a podcast about me and you can call it Zero to Hero. It's just you bitching at me every time I break training.
That sounds like great content. I don't see an issue.
We're not doing that for OBO. Keep it rolling.
We absolutely should. Anyway, welcome back to Diggity, a weekly video game podcast where we get you caught up on all of the week's gaming news. We go live every Thursday night at 9 p.m. on Twitch and YouTube. If you miss us live, no worries. The audio version will go live at 5 a.m. every Friday, and the YouTube video will stay up in case you would like to see our beautiful faces. I mean, mainly Nick, but for whatever godforsaken reason, we are also part of the Spawn Camp Network, a collection of podcasts focused on bringing you content that will make you smile nearly every day of the week, because we upload nearly every day of the week. You can head over to spawncamp.co to get links to all of our socials and also get in contact with us. It also takes you to each playlist on our YouTube channel, which is really cool. So the Spawn Camp Network is made up of WASD and Beyond, which is Nick's show, which is kind of a topic-based podcast that zeroes in on PC gaming and the gaming culture as a whole. The Build Bros, which is Spawn Camp's resident Gunpla and anime podcast. Objectively Bad Opinions, the monthly chaotic podcasts it brings the whole Spawn Camp network together, and we get up to all sorts of shenanigans and bullshit, and I can't wait. We're about due for another episode here. And then, of course, Diggity, which is your gaming news podcast. We also upload gameplay videos on Tuesdays that not only feature us, but also members of the community. And if you are wondering how to join said community, check the episode description for a link to our entirely free Discord. The server is constantly growing with members from many different communities, and we bond over everything from food to F1 with plenty of gaming, Gunpla, and anime content mixed in as well. Hop on in. We would love to play some games and shoot the shit with you.
Also, how do you not have more sponsors?
Did you like that?
That was a great table read.
Thank you. So many times I've gone into these podcasts when Jeff isn't here and I like fucking wing it and I sound like an idiot. So I finally sat down and just wrote something out just so I could actually read something and not lose track of what I was doing. So
sounded great.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Good job. Good
Thanks.
Shit.
That's the second time I've done it.
Love it.
Oh, man. So... one thing you could find in our Spawn Camp network is a lot of memes about the Queen.
God save the Queen.
And this, for the record, these are two people from the UK, or that were mainly sharing most of the memes.
Yeah, let's get that out of the way
Yeah,
right now.
so this was not, not us, but I won't say that I didn't enjoy them. My sympathies go out, of course, but goddamn, the internet just latches onto anything and just makes memes of it instantly.
It's your show, right?
Yeah,
So I am fighting back a lot of funny things in my head that just are going because I can make it go from like a haha to like a whoa. Shouldn't have said that.
maybe
I'm
save
not
it
going
for
to.
OBO.
Yeah, I think the funniest shit that I saw in the server was, I mean, I contributed, but like some members posted like great enemy felon or has been felled and shit like that from like Elden Ring.
Yeah.
It's just like that. I was or like God slain, and I was just like looking at that. I'm like, oh my god, like it just fucked me up. So like, listen, a lot of people in England right now are partying.
Right.
What do you want me to do? I'm a Yank. I don't know. Doc said it the best. She's just an old lady at the end of the day at this point, isn't it? So like,
yeah,
like whatever.
My sympathies go out on the basis of it's still someone's loved one, right? Like, but
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Moving on. We should move on.
We should probably move on.
We should go.
You know what's really fun? My very professional mind completely forgot to hit record. So guess what? I'm pulling it from the video. It's fine.
That's fine.
Hopefully audio sounds good. Anyway,
whatever.
So typically we like to jump right into news, but this week has been a little dry. And also today was crazy, so I did not get to write my show notes. So we're doing a topic this week. So instead of doing what we've been playing at the end of the episode, we're going to go ahead and do it here. So Nick, what have you been playing, my friend?
Yeah, I've been playing a couple different things. I'll start out with the game that I've beaten most recently and that you and I are going to actually be doing a review on soon, which was Cult of the Lamb. From start to finish, I loved this game. It was a great roguelite. I always get the fucking two mixed up, whatever.
Do too.
So it was just like,
I've been covering this shit for like 4 years and I still can't keep them straight.
Enter the Gungeon mixed with like fucking Animal Crossing, mixed with like some bullet hell elements. This game was amazing. I loved this game, so I've been playing that. I opted in for pre-order for Marauders.
Oh, nice.
So I pre-ordered Marauders. That is a Tarkov looter in space, basically. Needs polish, right?
Yeah.
A lot of like the sounds. You've played Rainbow Six, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Siege, a lot of the sounds can start sounding like they're coming from everywhere when it's like definitely to your right, but then you hear to your left, and you're like, this is wonky as fuck. That's what this game suffers from.
That's kind of how I feel in Tarkov too. Like I cannot get a feel for sound in Tarkov at all.
In Tarkov, it depends where you're at. So like if you're in a corridor, it's gonna reflect. It's gonna bounce.
Right.
So it's gonna echo. If you have different headsets on though, it'll stop that. It'll amplify. It'll soften. There's a Tarkov is just learning how to make the game work.
So much, yeah.
There's a lot.
So much to Tarkov.
This game is not like that. It's Tarkov in the aspect of it's hardcore. It looks like Tarkov too.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as unforgiving, I would say. And then like the weaponry is very simple. It's if World War II never ended and it went into the 90s and we got into space somehow is what I'm getting from the story.
Okay.
The lore essentially. Yeah. So like you're using like Mausers and shit like that.
Oh.
It's cool. I opted in to play it. I pre-ordered it, so I'm gonna have to play it. Right. So that's what I've been playing as well. I would highly recommend that to anyone who's into Tarkov. But other than that, those are the only two things I've really been playing. And Call of Duty Modern Warfare, getting ready for Modern Warfare 2.
Hell yeah. I actually almost pre-ordered Modern Warfare 2 last night. I have not yet. Because I knew my Steam Deck was going to become available today, which it did. And I'm
which you
super
did what?
I purchased that immediately.
Praise
Well,
Gavin.
not immediately. It was about 5 hours after I got my email, but I did purchase it. So super excited for that. Next week, I'm hoping I should have it. Hopefully. We'll see. It'll be close.
I got my confirmation email at work while I was on the road.
Oh, yeah.
So I just pulled over into a parking lot. I was just like, I
Well,
fucking purchased it right then and there.
yeah, I was out on the floor when I got mine, so I didn't even realize it until hours later because I was panicking because I was seeing people get theirs from, they pre-ordered almost 15 days after when I did. I'm like, where the fuck's my email? Where the fuck is my email? But it finally came, and I'm so excited for that. But I knew I was gonna look at that chunky boy. Look at it, audio
It's
listeners.
beautiful.
He is holding up his Steam Deck. But anyway, I decided to kind of hold off on Modern Warfare. Plus, I will probably get it next week because I do want access to the early beta. Or
That and the campaign.
in the campaign, definitely.
A week early is insane. That is amazing.
And that is it's almost concerning to me in a way because it's like, man, normally their pre-order bonuses kind of suck. And this is pretty good. And I'm kind of scared this is, hey, here's a pile of shit. But I think it's just to not split up the campaign and multiplayer crowd, right? Like, and I'm okay with that. I'm cool with that. But anyway, I will be ordering that next week, and I'm not going to get the $99 one because that's a fucking ridiculous ripoff. I'm just going to get
For
regular.
digital content? No, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good. But anyway, I have been playing, let's see. I played a little bit of Fortnite with my kids over the weekend, and my buddy that lives in Chicago. That's kind of been his game because he's waiting for a new FPS to come out as well, just like, the rest of the world where a lot of people have slipped back into Fortnite. I played Xenoblade Chronicles.
Nice.
And really, that's about it. Oh, I played a little bit of Forza Horizon 5 and still trying to kind of chip away at that.
The entire spawn camp server goes through weird lulls where it's either like we're playing hardcore competitive shooters, we're playing Pico Park, or we're playing Forza, or Evan's playing F1. I love it, though.
Yeah.
Like, we're gearing up for fucking Gundam Evo, though. The entire server is gearing up for Gundam Evo.
Oh, I forgot. We also played Tarkov.
We did play Tarkov.
Because we had a moment where we dropped in or whatever. I wasn't. I was sober as hell, I'm pretty sure. No, I did end up drinking by the end of it, I think.
Oh, yeah, you
because
did.
I needed it. We were playing and you got shot in the leg, so you couldn't run for shit. And it was like a World War II movie where Nick's like, "Go on without me."
Dude, it was like that though. I was like, "Just go on, Brody." You're like, "What?
Okay.
I don't know where I'm going."
So I took off running. Evan came over to try to help you. You both ended up dying. Matt had been disconnected. He loaded back in, came sprinting over to try to help me. He died. And then the whole server is watching my stream as I sprint across, what was it, custom?
Yeah, we were on customs.
And sprint across the entire thing to make it to an evac zone so I could get out of there. It was ridiculous.
The entire time, Logan from Build Bros is like, "Brobus, go!" just hearing Logan.
It was awesome. It was
Logan,
it was
so good.
one of those moments that like I have not had my heart beat that quickly playing video games in God knows how long. And it was so much fun. That game is incredibly like mind-blowing to me, all the different systems and things they have going on.
Yeah.
But the actual ability to sit there and like have hardcore moments like that where it's just nail biting and sweat pouring down, it's unlike anything I've really played in a long time.
That's Tarkov though, man. Like the adrenaline, like it's not a finished product, but for what you get from it right now is amazing. And there's a lot of systems that you have to learn right away and that you have to master and that you just need to know to play. But like if you're with a good group of dudes, you'll learn fast. You'll learn the maps, you'll learn your quests, and it just becomes a game that like is so accessible while still being inaccessible, if that makes sense. Like
it does.
Like you'll
it
start
makes
to
sense
get it,
once
but
you
then
play
learn.
it at least.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything you learn means you have to learn 2 more things.
Right.
to like master something, and that's what I like about Tarkov, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tarkov was fun. You brought up a game that we played. I also loaded up Cyberpunk
Oh yeah, yeah.
because 1.6 was released. So not only was 1.6 released, the anime is coming out soon on Netflix. I'm very fucking. It looks really good.
It's Studio Trigger too, which I usually like whatever they put out, even though they usually go in some weird direction near the end where it's like somehow you're in space and there's some giant naked lady. But hey,
This looks like it's going to be just balls to the wall insanity, which is Cyberpunk.
right.
So they announced they showed that off more and saying, hey, it's coming out in a couple of weeks.
Mhm.
The DLC is coming out next year at some point. I doubt it, but whatever. And then
And it's also
1.6 came out.
It's also supposed to be the only DLC they're making for the game, supposedly.
There was supposed to be multiple DLCs where you ended up on the moon. Not happening.
Because why not?
Yeah. So, well, there's like a casino on. I'm not doing this. Anyways, so I.
It sounds like you are.
Yeah. So I loaded Cyberpunk up to see what 1.6 brought. Now, I'm a bit not jaded, but I never had problems with Cyberpunk. The only thing I ever had was T-posing. And like maybe a bug here and there. And like some missions didn't work. But like other than that, like the game always ran and I was able to play it fluidly with the exception of side missions not working sometimes. But like I was able to play the entire game other than that. This added in a couple gigs. It added in a side mission as well. I finished all of it in 45 minutes though.
Oh. Well, I mean, yeah. It wasn't.
There was no branch to it was you find a fucking like a HoloLens. So you get a brain dance really quick. And it just shows off the anime. It shows off like a couple minute thing of the anime, and then you just find clues.
So it was an ad.
It was an ad for the anime.
Nice.
1.6 is a giant ad for the anime.
They did add some quality of life stuff in there, though, from what I was
for
reading,
Xbox,
right?
for the consoles, I believe. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
PC's been fine.
Well, it was more quality of life stuff, not so much bug fixes. I thought, I can't remember exactly what it was. There was one big thing from that I took away, and I'm completely drawing a blank on it right now. But there was one thing they were adding that was supposed to be pretty good. Oh, it was a transmog system.
Yeah, you could transmog and shit now. Yeah.
Yeah. That was the one that I was excited about, just because it's like, I mean, it's a game that's supposed to be stylish, and you couldn't really choose what you wore, and half the time you were walking around looking like a complete goober.
Yeah, but if you fucking tweaked your character good enough in that game, you were just unstoppable. I died maybe twice in Cyberpunk.
Oh, I died early on quite a few times because I just run into a giant mob of people with a katana and didn't know what I was doing.
The game is something else. I'm almost glad they're stopping it with this DLC because that gives them time to work on The Witcher.
Mm-hmm.
That gives them time to come back to Cyberpunk and go, we need to fucking like deliver this time. We'll see what happens though. But if you haven't played Cyberpunk in a while and you see 1.6 as this big thing, it's not worth it. Just wait until the DLC comes out. Yeah. That's what I would say. Wait until that comes out. And if they charge for it, boycott. Do not buy that.
I have not played that game since the first month it came out. Never did finish it. It ran like shit on the PlayStation, and hence why it was taken off their store for
the only game
months?
Taken off their store
ever. Yeah. So there's that. But no, I have not gone back in. I eventually would like to, because I do want to experience the game. Like it had some cool concepts. It was not what was promised, right? And we've beat that horse to death, but yeah. We were pretty rough on it at release, but it's a cool game, and if you go into it, not thinking it's gonna be all of the things that was promised, I imagine it could be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where we're at, and I hope the DLC does well for them, or as far as like revives the game in some way, right? But we'll see.
You know what they actually did that was really good, really quick? What's sorry.
That? No, you're good.
They released a mod engine for Cyberpunk. So
Oh,
now the community can put their mods into the game.
so the
They
community
hired
can fix the game like it's a Bethesda game.
exactly, and they actually hired community members though, people who
Oh,
created for Cyberpunk. They were like, "Hey, wink, wink, make mods. Wink, wink. You might get hired." So I think that's what they're doing right
uh,
now.
are
So which
they? Is it available on console too, or is it only PC?
Steam? I'm
Okay,
assuming it's just Steam right now.
gotcha.
Eventually, I could see it maybe on console being able to download.
Yeah,
Not create though. Like
right.
obviously you wouldn't be able to create on a console. There's
Well,
just no feasible way really.
no.
If you don't have the tools necessarily, you know what I mean. The
Yeah,
developer.
the only reason I asked that is because on the like 20th release of Skyrim, they had that special edition that had
Yeah.
had the mods that you could download in game for console, which was I honestly for a Bethesda game, I think that should be standard because that's how
At this
Bethesda
point, yeah.
games get their legs, really. But yeah, cool.
We'll see with what's that game coming out from Bethesda? It did so
Starfield.
bad at
Oh,
Starfield.
yeah.
It looked so shit that I just didn't give a fuck because it looks like a boring space game. I think they're gonna have to add that shit in for Starfield. Again, that
Oh,
ties
yeah.
into our topic today for sure. But like looking at Starfield at E3, I remember us all going, "This is really what you're showing off." But anyways, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
No, you were absolutely fine. So this episode, we're a little cheeky, and we're gonna see if we can't get a cease and desist from PlayStation, and called it the Diggity State of Play. And Jeff is gonna hate it and make me change it immediately, but that's what it's called right now. Damn it!
Right now it's funny.
Yeah,
Damn you,
right now
Jeff.
it's funny. But anyway, our kind of thought process on this, and we've talked about Jeff and I have definitely talked about the state of gaming and this and that, but the last month or so has kind of been interesting, right? Where we've
Yeah.
seen something as simple as Saints Row coming out, or the ripple effect from the Activision Blizzard acquisition, right? And so we're starting to see more and more of this turmoil that we hadn't seen a few months ago when we had talked about this. So this is kind of going to be a different approach than what we have done before. Plus, Nick's here, so he has a different opinion than Jeff and I assume. But
Yeah.
the biggest thing right now, right? Like we talk about this acquisition all the time because it is constantly in the headlines, constantly at the forefront of everything. And this Blizzard Activision Blizzard, sorry, it's such a crazy, massive deal, and it's unlike anything we've ever seen in the industry before, and it is starting to make its ripple effects into PlayStation, right? So
Absolutely.
the big thing that made me think of doing this specifically was there was an interview with Jim Ryan basically saying that he was taking shots at Phil Spencer more or less because Phil had come out and said that that they were going to honor the multi-plat for Call of Duty for for several years, I believe is the wording. And Jim Ryan said that their deal was inadequate, I believe was the word he used.
Yeah, he used the word inadequate.
So it sounds like the COD deal to continue to have COD be multi-plat was only for 3 years, which is like a Modern Warfare 2 and maybe another game, maybe, because they're supposed to continue this one for at least 2 years.
Yeah.
So I understand why Jim Ryan is upset, but this comes as a result of in my mind, right? This is my opinion.
Yeah.
This comes as a result of all of the years of taking shots at Xbox for not having games. They're not going to create a studio because look at 343.
Yeah.
So Microsoft has more money than God, and they went out and bought studios. And to people who
All of them.
all of them, yes, all of the studios now belong to Microsoft, and people are upset about it,
fuck.
and they're like, "Well, why didn't they build their studios and this and that?" But I also don't think people understand that PlayStation has done the same thing.
Absolutely, they have.
Most of the studios under PlayStation weren't created by PlayStation. A good chunk of them were bought.
Yep.
Like Insomniac, Naughty Dog, like all of these studios were not PlayStation-made studios. They were studios that were bought up by PlayStation relatively early on, except for Insomniac. And So it's no different. It's just people are salty about it, and for good reason, right? Like I understand, but also it's just this. It you can't fucking knock on somebody for not doing something and then knock on them for doing what you told them they weren't doing. It's asinine. It's chasing. It's fucking consuming your own tail. Like.
Xbox did it in a grandiose way.
They did.
Right?
Oh,
Where
they fucking pulled their big ass cock out and laid it on the table. Absolutely.
Absolutely did. But like PlayStation for the longest time always had on launch, you will get this first.
Yeah.
You get the DLC first on PlayStation.
Right.
You get this early access on PlayStation. So like Xbox, like you said, took shots for so long to be the inferior console, which it was.
Yeah.
For a long time, I'd be like, no, it's not. Xbox is great. No, it wasn't. It was fine, but PlayStation always had the hardware. The games always looked smoother and more brilliant on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
And now we're not seeing both consoles. I'm looking at my Xbox and I know my PS5's upstairs. They're like neck and neck, right?
Yeah.
But now Xbox has the games. Xbox has the better Game Pass. Sony's fucking Game Pass thing they're doing is shite. It's fucking shit. It's not good. The classics are not like I look at it and I'm like, I don't want to play any of this shit. But like looking at the Call of Duty thing, it's like I really don't think it's business. It's fucking business, and as a gamer, it sucks to see it. But I really don't think Xbox is going to stop cross-plat for Call of Duty. I really don't, because then you lose so much money right there, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's just business partners and businessmen just bickering over fucking different amounts of money right at this point.
Oh, I don't even think it's that. I think at this point, Jim Ryan is not very beloved right now.
Absolutely not.
So he's trying to earn back favor. He's trying to play this card of Xbox was mean to me. And it's like, yeah, but you guys are also direct competition. You are two businesses. That's kind of how this works. And I fully agree with you, right? Like, and Jeff and I have talked about it many of times. It would be stupid to make Call of Duty single plat.
Absolutely.
To put it
Absolutely.
only on PC and Xbox would be absolutely asinine. And it would be a terrible decision to take a huge market, obviously, because the PlayStation, I mean, we don't have official numbers. There's a few sites that report numbers, but they're not accurate by any means. But regardless, PlayStation won last generation by a mile. So to take the Call of Duty franchise, one of the biggest money makers on or within Activision Blizzard. I mean, obviously you still have like Candy Crush, right? But aside from that, it's such a huge game that they would be leaving so much money on the table. They are putting so much money into this company that in order to get their return back from a business perspective, they have to put it on multiple platforms. They have to. I mean, I wouldn't doubt they try to make a Switch cloud version of it. Like, make your money, right? It would be awful. Don't get me wrong. I would not want to play it that way, but no. I would not think so at all. Like, it's you have to make money, right? And so, at least for, I would say every bit of 10 years, it's going to be coming to everywhere. I wouldn't doubt that at all. Because they're putting what was it, 70? Is that right? How much was that acquisition? Hang on, I'll look it up. You go ahead and talk.
Well, let me pose this question: when you go to a Target, a Walmart, a GameStop, anywhere, what console can you get? An Xbox S, a Series S,
yes,
or sometimes an X.
69 billion.
The ball's in fucking Microsoft's court.
Yeah.
They fucking pulled their dick out and spent that money.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway,
they did that.
Yes, your
like,
console.
You go to any retail shop. What are you going to see possibly? Well, you'll probably find an Xbox. Sometimes you'll find an X. I've seen Xbox One X's or Series X's. Sorry. They named their consoles so fucking stupidly. But you can find a Series X or S at shops. What you cannot find is a PlayStation most of the time. The minute those get put onto the site, or if someone knows somebody, they're gone.
Yep.
That is telling. And it's not saying Xbox is selling poorly. It is not.
Well, and I think some of it is I still have not seen Series X's anywhere. I know
I've seen them
they're
a couple times.
yeah, they're starting to kind of pop up. Microsoft also has more money and can probably get production from multiple different places and
Right.
kind of work that angle as well. And I'm not saying that's what's happening here, but your Series S, I see them every time I go anywhere, right? Like,
all
and
the time.
and that's kind of like this weird mid-gen type of thing. Like, I think it's a good console, but the diehard people are not going to pick that up. I know I have a buddy that had a 1X and he got the Series S and he's fine with it. He said it's good, but it doesn't feel like a leap. And sometimes, I mean, even the Series X doesn't feel like a leap. And same for the PlayStation 5, really. I mean, ultimately, right now, this generation has kind of been disappointing. And
have we gotten any games to validate our purchases, though?
I think the best game that we have gotten that validates the not even really validates the $500 price tag on these consoles, but at least has shown off anything, has been Ratchet and Clank. Like...
For me on the PlayStation, I'd say Returnal or Demon Souls.
See, I didn't play Returnal, but I feel like Demon Souls could have been on PS4 and it still would have looked fine.
I do agree with you on that, but the fidelity you get from that PS5, because it was like a showcase game for PS5, the fidelity you get from it right there is the importance of what you're looking at, right? So, like, I think it could run in some state on a PS4 Pro. It looked really good.
Yeah, I think on the Pro it would have looked fine, and I don't think anybody would have batted an eye. I mean, it's a huge step up for Demon Souls anyway, right? Because that game's really old at this point. Ed's just popping off in the chat.
Yeah, I'm just saying we haven't seen much, but Callisto for me was a very pretty game,
Returnal.
And it looked. Oh my God, Returnal! Thank you.
No, you're good. I just wanted to make sure we were on the same page.
My brain went similarities.
Fair enough.
It was very pretty.
Yeah.
And the way it played was really nice.
Yeah.
Would I say it's next gen? Fuck no, it's not a next gen title. Just because it looks good doesn't mean shit. It's like me looking at that Matrix fucking demo we all got and going, "This is it." No, the fuck it's not.
No,
it's
just
just
a demo.
Unreal Engine 5.
Right.
Like anybody could have made that if you know the tools.
Right.
Right. So. I don't know, man. Like this whole PlayStation v Xbox like console war, it died for a little while, and now it's restarting over this tweet, over this news. And it's like, motherfucker, here we go again. Oh yeah. Goddamn! Thank you, Jeff.
So I've actually been playing my PC probably more than anything lately, and it's not. A lot of it has to do with Discord, right? A lot of time, it's more being connected with other people that I play with, and a lot of my friends that play Xbox or play PlayStation, we're not playing the same games or whatever, and that's the beauty of Discord. Of like, you just hop in, you just shoot the shit and whatever. But that's why I'm excited for the Discord integration with Xbox, and I hope it comes to PlayStation because then that bridges that gap at least a little bit. But the whole console war thing is just kind of this ridiculous made-up bullshit, and you got fanboys on either side, and they all have them, right? Like, Nintendo has fanboys, PlayStation has fanboys, Xbox has fanboys, and the PC Master Race has gigantic fanboys, right? Like, everybody has their preference.
Like the end boss.
Right, like, everybody has their preference, and there's nothing wrong with that, but inherently, like, there's benefits to each console, and I enjoy my Xbox. I really do. I think it's a great console. I enjoy my PlayStation. I think it's a great console. They all have their ups. For me, I like the hardware of the Xbox more, personally, just because of some of the things that it can do, right? Like, I like Game Pass. I like the quick resume. I like some of the different features there. But PlayStation has their kind of version of Game Pass, which I have not gone in on, honestly. And but they have they just they have the games, right? That's always been their thing. They have the games, and Xbox is trying to catch up.
Yeah.
And we might get there, but it's gonna take time. And everybody's still, saying that Xbox has no games. Well, most of them are in development, and development takes time. So that's in the next 2 years we'll start to see more. But PlayStation keeps pumping them out too, right? Like we've been seeing a lot of Spider-Man 2. We've been seeing we're gonna have Wolverine. We're gonna have a bunch of good shit coming up, and I'm excited for all of that. But I think it all comes back to like this gen has just kind of been boring so far. It has not been interesting, and there's nothing that drags me back to my consoles right now. I'd rather sit in this chair right here, bullshit with the guys in Discord and the community Discord that you can join for free, by the way, and just play mindless games, right? Like Forza Horizon 5 or whatever it may be, and that's the beauty of it. So I don't know. I think that's like one side of it, right? The acquisition stuff has been driving me crazy forever, right? Just watching people on Twitter argue about it over and over. And it's so, you can't go to an Xbox or PlayStation post without seeing the very top comment on it is always the other console's better. And it's like, is it really? I mean, I don't know.
It's people who don't know what the fuck they're talking about. That's why when it comes to the acquisitions, I let people like Jeff talk about it.
Right.
Jeff knows what he's talking about. I can look at it and go Xbox, go PlayStation. That's where I land on that spectrum, where Jeff can go, this is why this is good for these reasons. This is why this could be bad. Right? So I think what Xbox is doing is really smart. It's a bit troubling in a way as well. I'm not saying I've loved everything Xbox has done. It's good for them in a business standpoint, but for gamers, is it good? It might not be. But again, when it comes to Call of Duty, though, you got GTA and Call of Duty, right? Like when I think of like games that are the biggest things in the medium, it's Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty, Fortnite, shit like that. Now, say Xbox acquired all of Epic. There's no fucking way they're going to go, well, now Fortnite is just on Xbox. Sorry, guys.
It'd be stupid.
How much money do you lose at that point?
And that's the thing that gets me with PlayStation. If they were, I mean, now they're finally getting into releasing things on PC, right?
Yes.
But it comes years later, and they come at full pop, which I think is not okay, personally.
Not rebuying God of War.
I'm not, and I would love. I want to play through God of War again, but instead of buying it again on PC, which is like I said, where I've been playing, I watched a YouTube video. I just being really honest. Like I played the game, I enjoyed the game, I love the game. It's one of my top 5 favorite games of all time.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna rebuy it, not just to have it on another console until it goes on a sale, right? Because I already purchased it once. And I already played through it once, and I don't need to do that. Now, if Ragnarok was coming to PC, I'd probably buy it on PC. But of course, I'm going to buy it on PlayStation. But I think PlayStation leaves so much money on the table where they could release these games. Like the MLB, forcing them to release the show on Xbox because the MLB's like, I want fucking money.
And I want it now.
But the thing is, they're trying to get you locked into an ecosystem. The consoles, they make little to no money, if not lose money half the time, right? The whole thing is getting somebody locked into an ecosystem. That's why Game Pass is going to work well for Xbox. It's still taking time. It's still growing. But all of these things are to get you locked into an ecosystem, so now you are either paying a subscription or you are purchasing games on that console, and they get royalties from that, right? They get a certain portion of it. And that's where they make money. They don't make money on the hardwares, and so many people don't understand that.
Right, exactly.
I don't know how this long into video games nobody understands that consoles do not make money. They make money on accessories, they make money on, and even then peripherals, I don't know how much money they actually make from those. It could still be a moot point to some regard, right? Like your Elite controller, I'm sure you're making hand over fist on, but you look at something like a regular PlayStation controller, probably not making a whole lot of money there. A little bit, not much. But most of their money, or almost all of their money, is from the games that they sell. And so something like PlayStation, where they're going in and they're buying like the exclusive rights to Final Fantasy VII Remake for God knows how, in an undetermined amount of time.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, right? But the other side of, this state of gaming as a whole, right? Like, we've been talking about this point here, the current gen stuff, and that's something we've talked about many of times. So the other side of it is the state of games that are coming out.
Oh my God.
So I mean, the biggest one that has been the most notorious letdown in probably all of gaming, or right up there, Cyberpunk has to be mentioned, right?
Yes.
It has to be mentioned. That game came out. It's still sold like 14 million copies, and that's including the ones that had been returned, or sorry, excluding the ones that had been returned. So this game sold like probably at launch, I bet it sold what, 15, 16? If maybe not. Most people aren't even going to take the time to go through the whole return process, so that's probably skewed, right? But
right,
you're looking at, I think within the first month that it sold like 13 million copies, and very few people liked it at launch because of promises made that it did not live up to, and all of the bugs, and just, I mean, I remember a very important mission. You're getting a chip from I can't even think of his fucking name. It's been so long since I played the game.
Jackie?
Jackie. You're getting that chip from Jackie, and the game in the cutscene.
Fucking head. Yeah.
No, he had his gun. He pulled his gun out of his fucking head. Like, what? But
I remember that.
That one has to be mentioned, and I think most recently the other game that needs to be mentioned is Saints Row. That game.
Wow, Saints Row.
Holy shit. They are trying to revitalize a franchise that has been kind of in shambles. I won't say it's entirely in shambles, but it's been in a weird spot.
And in limbo.
Yeah. So they try to revitalize this, and they release a game that is buggy as fuck. To the point where people, the reviews were like, yeah, the game's fine, but the bugs are to the point where it is almost unplayable. And
dude, if it rains in that game, you can't play it.
Right, exactly. And it's just, I'm sure this isn't a shot at devs, right? Like, I'm sure the devs planned on fixing all of this. This is a shot at upper management trying to get games out because they want to make money, which is how businesses work, fair enough. But also, you do this and now you lose faith within the gaming community.
It's still a product at the end of the day, though. So, like, if you throw a product out that's shit, like, I don't know, this beer. If you throw this beer out and you go, this is a great beer. Well, if I drink this beer and it tastes okay and I shit for fucking 4 days, then it's not a good fucking beer. I don't want it. Same with Cyberpunk and Saints Row. Like, this is going to be a very good fucking product. Okay, cool. I get it. And I play it and it's shit.
Yeah.
I don't want to keep playing it, but guess what? I did, because I'm a fucking asshole and I'm a gamer, so I fucking went through it and I still bitched. That's what every fucking gamer did. Like, and I don't want to hear people go, I never did that. Yes, you fucking did. For Cyberpunk and Saints Row. Yeah, you did. You beat it, or you got very close to it. You fucking went through all the bugs and all the pain just to bitch more.
Yeah.
But, like, it's not it falls on the devs, but it mostly falls on upper management, like you said.
Rushing games out, right? Before they're done.
Crunch, and, like, it's a lot. There's a lot that goes into this shit. That, like, people just think games are just made. Right. They're not just fucking made. It's a product.
Yes.
Like, you need to remember that. And, like, they need to remember it too. Like, the model of put it out now, fix it later, add microtransactions, add a battle pass.
Yeah.
That's taken over. That's where we're at.
What's also crazy that I've seen is, and Jeff actually brought this up, and I was thinking about it too, so many of these games release and reviewers are getting a copy without the day one patch. And they're like, I don't know, it might be fixed in the day one patch. Where the fuck are we at in the industry where we can just be like, I don't know, they might fix it with a patch? Like, how is that acceptable? I
On
don't.
0 hour, you fix it.
Right, like,
Possibly.
we might fix it before it comes out, but we'll have to see, and we'll update you after the game came out. And you're like, oh, why? Why are we doing this? And again, like I said, this isn't shot at devs, and sure, to some extent, I'm sure there's some blame to be had there as well, right? But most of it is management rushing it out to try to get it out before a certain quarter or a certain time frame so they can prove to investors that they're making money and this and that. But the, I look at a game like Battlefield, right? I will never buy another Battlefield game on launch. Never.
Nope, absolutely the fuck
I bought
not.
this one, and I knew that Battlefield games are usually rough at launch, but I wanted to be there for it. And on top of that, there's a certain aspect of, doing a podcast on it that we tend to cover
We
these
have
things.
to be there.
But at the end of the day, like, I won't ever buy another Battlefield game at launch. I will wait.
Nope.
I will wait. I will pick it up later. And there's so many games that have come out like that. Like, I don't trust CD Projekt Red anymore. Not at all. I don't trust the Volition for Saints
Bethesda.
Row. But I don't trust I
haven't trusted Bethesda in a very long time.
But there's so many of these companies that, like, I like to be there day one because I like being a part of the water cooler talks with people, right? It doesn't happen so much at work, but it's usually in our Discord or whatever like that, where you're sitting there and you're like, oh my God, you do this, you do that, you do that, this and that. And it's not enjoyable anymore. Now those water cooler talks have turned into, did you encounter this bug? Did you run into this? Did you fall through the entire world and fall to your death, and then your save was deleted, and then the game just made your computer catch on fire? Like, how is this? I don't know. It sucks, man. Like, I used to be the guy that was always there day one on a lot of games, and I just stopped. I just straight up stopped. I can't do it anymore. I'm sick of wasting money on things. I love being a part of those talks, and I love being being able to review like new games and stuff on here, but there's very few companies that I trust that are actually going to put out a product that at launch is finished and acceptable and playable.
I agree. It's at this point it's not easy to be a gamer when it comes to being excited for things, because we've just been bitten in the ass so many times.
Mm-hmm.
But that also comes down to expectations. It comes down to wanting a release date. Like Cyberpunk, we all knew shouldn't have came out, but then we wanted it out anyways, and then we get what we get, right? And it comes from management. Management said just throw it out there, whatever. But a lot of it was, well, now you've said it was going to release this day, this day, this day. Now it's not. So it's just it's a battle on both ends.
Oh yeah,
that I don't think is going to be won anytime soon.
No,
and it sucks.
And I gotta point out what Ed said here. Like, Nintendo and Monolith, what they did with Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is incredible. The fact that he moved it up like 4 months. Granted, Nintendo is notorious for sitting on games. They'll sit on games for like a year before they release them, which is crazy to me. But also, Nintendo releases games, and when they come out, they are fucking polished.
Oh, polished. They're always pretty much polished.
I never have problems with their games. Granted, like, there was that weird experience with like the 3D All-Stars game, which wasn't great. Those were terrible ports of those games, but most of the time, like, especially, your Zeldas, your 3D Marios, even your 2D Marios, which we haven't seen really in a long time, but like any of those games, Nintendo has a reputation for quality for their first party games. Pokemon aside, which is kind of a weird, like, second party type of whatever situation, but regardless, Nintendo has that reputation, and I appreciate that from them. That's why I know when a game comes out, like, there have been missteps, right? Like, the Mario sports games have not been great. Mario Tennis was absolutely abysmal, and I will never take that back. I hated it so much, but there's something to be said there, and I think Nintendo, being as old school as they tend to be on a lot of things, I think they still value that idea of, I'm going to put this game out, and I should not have to ever touch it again. If I never wanted to patch it, it's done. Because I feel like they still have that mentality from years and years ago where, hey, this is going on the cart, and after that, you're fucked. So this is what it is.
It's going to stay $60, sucker.
Right. So
Because it came out fine. Like,
yeah, and their games never drop in value, which is crazy.
yes.
Which also
Yes.
makes me more inclined to just go ahead and buy it at launch because it's like I'm never gonna see a sale on it anyway. I might
What's the
get $10
fucking point
off.
not? What's
Right?
the fucking point?
It's awful.
So,
I just buy into it, but
yeah.
I don't know, man. It's just the whole gaming industry right now is fucking going wild, and I don't know what to do with it. And we just sit here and report on it and probably bitch about it too much. But it's like it seems
we
like
can
there's
do.
just fires everywhere, and you don't know what to do with it. It's weird.
At this point, Brody, we just wait. We just wait for more and more good games to come out. Callisto's coming up. There's a lot of other games coming up. So just wait at this point.
I've almost found solace in like indie games, right? Like you look
Yep,
at
that's
Cult
where
of
I've
the
been.
Lamb. There was some bugs on Cult of the Lamb, especially the Switch version. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I did have it crash on me, I think once or twice, and I did have a couple weird bugs. But I played for 20 hours and I encountered like 2, maybe 3 bugs.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I enjoyed the experience. It was relatively bite sized. I mean, like I said, I put 20 hours into it, so not exactly like a 5-hour experience, but I love indie games recently.
Yeah.
That's just kind of been the thing where they're more entertaining, they're more interesting than most AAA titles. And you know, we've been talking about being excited for Modern Warfare 2. I'm sure there's going to be problems with it, right? There always is with Call of Duty, and I accept that. But given the first-person shooters that we've had over the last
I'll take
year,
it.
I will probably take a Call of Duty game over anything. Granted, I said the same fucking thing about Battlefield, and I got bit in the ass on that, so here we are. But Battlefield, Halo, I mean, the Halo campaign was fine, but the multiplayer is still abysmal. I mean, we reported on it, I believe, last week, where it's like, they pushed Forge, they got rid of split screen, and they pushed the online co-op again, and it's like, what is happening?
Where are we at here?
And that's kind of what makes me scared for Overwatch 2, right? I am excited for that game. I'm, especially being free to play, I can get into it, and I don't have to purchase it so many places, but it's still one of those things. Is it going to be riddled with microtransactions? I know they did away with loot crates, but they're doing a battle pass system. There's probably going to be skins that you can only buy. I mean, they're more or less going to follow the Fortnite battle pass model that they have made popular, right?
That we've been at, yeah.
And I'm not always opposed to that, but it has to be done in a tactful way. I
A
suppose.
tasteful way, yeah.
Yeah.
So
if you can earn enough to get back, you know, what you put into it, I think that's the best thing you can do from a battle pass system. And I think
which I agree.
And most of the time, people spend that money on something and then they put more money in because they appreciate being able to earn their money back in some regard, right? And I think it promotes spending in a way that it doesn't feel greedy and
It feels healthy at that point.
right.
So, yeah.
I'm
What the hell's
trying
going
to
on in
catch
chat?
up on the chat. Jeff and Ed are just popping off.
Can you catch up on the chat while I go see what just fell?
Oh God. Yeah.
Something just fell. Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, you're good. Let's see. Yeah, Jeff's mentioning that companies relying on day one patches for games. It's especially when they're relying heavily on microtransactions, which is a huge no-no. You look at especially Halo. It launched with multiplayer for a short period of time, and then they had, you know, added in the season pass, and everybody fucking hated it, and this and that. Ed said, "What if Halo was done by Rare?" Ooh, I'd like to see it. I don't know what it would be like, but I'm not opposed to the idea. Anybody other than 343 at the helm of Halo would probably be a solid thing in my mind right now. I think 343 wants to do something other than Halo, but I could be wrong, or maybe they're just incompetent. I don't know.
I don't think Rare is ever going to touch Halo.
I don't think so either.
I don't think anyone's going to give up that IP. Also, it was just my screen door. There's wind, and it just like flew into the house.
I think Rare is in a weird spot right now too. With, you know, they have Sea of Thieves. They were working on that Everwild. Is that right? Everwild.
I believe so. Yeah.
Which got delayed pretty heavily. Again. Yeah. Jeff said,
Conquer and Halo, I would die.
That'd be, yeah. Jeff said, give the Halo team Viva Pinata.
Do you remember when Viva Pinata was announced for Xbox 360?
Yeah,
That was like the huge announcement. I was like,
what
the fuck is this? I was like, and why? Like, we don't fucking need this.
So Ed brought up, he said, so do you think Metroid Prime 4 would change the discussion of FPS? I think the biggest thing right now is we don't have a good multiplayer FPS. If Metroid had some version of a multiplayer, I think that would be cool and interesting to see how they would do that. But I think the biggest thing is a lot of people enjoy FPS campaigns, but it's usually not a mainstay, I don't think. I think it's usually like I expect to play about 7 to 8 hours of this and then play something else.
Look at Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal, though.
That's true. Those were...
Doom, when it originally came out, I'm talking about originally came out.
Yeah.
People, you played it for the story because that's all you had. But then LANs became a thing, and then multiplayer became a thing. So when you played games like Doom, you played it for the fucking multiplayer. But now you look at Doom, and the multiplayer is there, but it's not there. It's not. There's no deathmatch in Eternal. It's just one mode where you're playing essentially Dead by Daylight in Doom, but just like in an arena. So Metroid, the next Metroid game, I think, isn't going to change anything in FPS, but I think it'll be a nice welcome to FPS. I think it's going to do a lot of cool shit within the FPS realm, but it's not going to do anything that hasn't been done. I think it's going to be a lot of... People are excited for another Metroid game in general, right?
Right.
Especially this Metroid game that's been delayed and fucking pushed back and canceled and rebooted. Like, they want this game. People want this game. But I don't think it's going to do anything crazy. Like, if you saw, like, the next Wolfenstein come out, which has also been shelved. So I don't want to talk about that.
Well, they had that misstep with the co-op one that they did, but that was a different company, wasn't it?
It was, I thought it was being made by a different company.
Yeah,
but like, id is working on, so Bethesda as well. They are working on Quake. They are working on fucking Wolfenstein. But those are two games that they could release and they could get out there for FPS. And I think they would be huge FPS. Yeah. Bring back a game like Unreal Tournament right now. I guarantee be a smash hit.
Well, even look at something like Splitgate, right? Splitgate took off.
Perfect.
Granted, it didn't hold attention very long, but it took off in a big way where in a time when we didn't have Halo, and granted, now we still have Halo, but it feels like we don't have Halo. Splitgate is this awesome, like, hey, we took what makes Halo great and what makes Portal great, and we mixed them together and made a cool arena shooter that people enjoyed because it was unique. It wasn't perfect, but it was fantastic. It was something new. It felt fresh. It wasn't the same thing shoved down our throats that we always get.
We're not gonna fucking feel anything. We're oversaturated with a lot of battle royale still. Battle royale, people are like, it's dead now. No, it's not. No, the fuck it's not.
No,
the fuck it is. You know, everything has to have a battle royale in it, right? So like, things that don't need a battle royale has a battle royale. It's like, no, we don't need or want it. Let battle royale stay with PUBG, Fortnite. You got your Apex Legends. Let it be there. I think arena shooters are going to come back in a big way. I really, really fucking do. So that's what I am waiting for. I'm waiting for arena shooters to come back. A game like, as Ed said, Metroid, for single player, perfect. It's going to be amazing.
Right.
FPS. So that's my take.
And
but I'm also an old guy. So like I want to see Quake and all that.
And that's kind of where Nintendo lives, right? Their multiplayer is usually, I mean, aside from like party multiplayer like Mario Kart and stuff, right? They live in that realm of creating an awesome single player experience. And that's what they excel at. And I think Metroid will do that, and I think they will do it well. The fact that they scrapped it when they were 2-3 years into development and started from the base level again, I think that's good. I think it's one of those things that...
Sorry.
I think it really shows that they are putting the time and they're putting the effort into it. And I think it will come out and it will be exceptional. I mean, Metroid Dread is really cool too, as its own different, like, it's not Prime, right? It is more a return to what Metroid started as, with its own twists. But I think we're living in a realm right now where it's like everything needs to be roguelike or have roguelike elements or whatever it may be, and there's always going to be that. Yeah, there's always going to be something where it's like, battle royales, like you mentioned, are huge and will continue to be huge. And Fortnite is showing no signs of slowing down. Not even little bit.
Not never, but it's not going to for a while. And by the way, Jeff, Neopets. I don't want Club Penguin. I want Neopets back. Let's be honest about that.
Never forget what they took from us.
Yeah, you son of a gun. When it comes to Metroid, though, how cool would it be if Nintendo did make that an online shooter as well? Like a deathmatch in Metroid made by Nintendo, only on the Switch.
Awesome. It'd be awesome. If their online services were better.
If it ran good, there wasn't any. I can imagine right now. Oh, fuck.
Given the netcode of Smash Bros. And trying to play that online it's terrifying, it's horrifying, and I still have nightmares about it. Once you add in a shooting element of it, I can't imagine it gets much better. But Ed did bring up Splatoon, right? It is kind of it lives in its own space and in a it's not even really a shooter. It's entirely its own thing, and it's actually really a cool idea. I have never been able to get into it. My oldest son got into Splatoon 2 for a little bit, and Splatoon, that comes out today, doesn't it, or tomorrow, or whatever it is.
I believe so.
But I think Nintendo always has good ideas, and I hope people are taking notes. I don't think they are, because Nintendo has been doing what they've been doing for a long time, and
they do what they want.
They always have, and I hope they continue to do exactly what they want. Right? They are their. Oh my God! Did Jeff just post a dab emoji? Is that what just happened?
Yeah, he did. You're going to hell for that.
What? I just found these emojis. Jeff, goddamn.
So did the Queen.
Oh no. Oh,
we brought that joke back. Keep going. Sorry.
But I really want other people aside from Nintendo and indie devs to do something cool and just stop recycling shit and putting out the same shit, but worse every time. It seems like it progressively gets worse. I don't know.
He found fight emojis now. Yeah, like with a lot of indie games, you tend to see them all kind of go in the same direction, same art styles a lot of the times.
A lot of pixel stuff.
Yeah, that's not what I'm stoked for. I'm stoked to see games like Midnight Fight Express.
Yeah.
I'm super pumped on the fucking, God damn it. How the hell did I forget this right now? New Blood.
Oh, yeah.
Gloomwood. And all those fucking games they're dropping.
New Blood looks fantastic.
And
it's not even my style of game.
They dropped it a day early for people to play. Night Dive Studios crushing it too with their remakes, and they're gonna drop the new fucking System Shock, which the remake of it. Like, you got cool studios like this doing awesome things, and then you got, Devolver doing things like Cult of the Lamb. So there is big push for indie right now. And I think indie is taking the spotlight on a lot of cool things.
I love when Devolver announces a new game. I get so excited.
They do it in such an awesome way too. They're like it's such an in-your-face "fuck you" type of way.
Oh yeah,
where like you cannot ignore it. There's no way to ignore it.
Their conference for E3 was cringy as fuck, and I loved every minute of it. It was
fantastic.
Moment of it. Like, it was over the top. They knew exactly what they were doing. It was essentially a giant parody, and they just announced a bunch of cool shit. Yep. And some of it didn't land with me personally, but that's because there's so much different content coming from them that they just slapped a Devolver on there, and they have some indie dev that is doing their thing and creating a cool game. And it's almost the most exciting part of E3 for me anymore, is seeing Devolver there, which is wild. Because 4 years ago, it was not that. You're like, oh yeah, Devolver's on. But they've really just done awesome things. Like, my friend Pedro, what was it?
Yeah, my friend Pedro was fun.
I think Katana Zero was through them. I can't remember. But regardless, they've put out just a bunch of great indie games over the course of the last few years that I think they're a force to be reckoned with. But I don't want them to become something too large, because then they may go down the same route. And being where
Gobbled
they're
up,
at,
yeah.
they're large enough to be recognized, but also not too large to forget what they're doing. And I enjoy that. I mean, I feel a lot of this episode was, pretty negative, but that's kind of where we're at right now. And if you don't feel upset about some of these things, then I don't know what to tell you, because they're not okay. They're just
You've
not.
you've been under a rock if you're not upset with the state of where gaming's at.
Right.
But there is a lot of positives too. Like I said, there's so many cool studios popping up and creating good things. There's old studios taking IPs like God of War and bringing it to this next gen, where like we needed that. We need a God of War. We need a Kratos, Lara Croft. We need a fucking Gordon Freeman. We need Quake. We need a lot of these legacy IPs, I'd say, to come back and be like, let's keep going forward. Let's stop with the bullshit and go forward. Because then you had great titles and great IPs, such as Assassin's Creed, coming out. And when it came out, when the first one came out, I remember seeing that and going, holy fuck, here we are. Like, oh my God, look at this game. The longer Assassin's Creed came out, the more I went, this fucking sucks.
Yep.
Rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. Same with Call of Duty. They got caught recycling maps. Not, I don't know if everyone remembers that, but they were taking maps, putting it on top, and switching assets.
Yeah.
No one called them out. We need to call shit out again.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
I agree.
That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I agree. Oh, well, I feel like we probably bitched about gaming enough here.
You think Old Man Corner's done? I don't know.
I think Old Man Corner's done. Yeah, we can
go
Jeff,
ahead and... Assassin's Creed should not take place in Romania. It's just going to be vampires and people fucking stealing from people.
I don't know. I'm kind of down for that. That actually sounds great.
That could be cool. Go on. Kill the show off, please.
All right. So, thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. We are Diggity Podcast, in case you're joining in at the end, like some fucking weirdo, whatever.
Sucks to be you.
You can always watch us every week or listen to us every week for all of the gaming news. We are part of Spawn Camp Network, just a collection of different podcasts and content creators that create a bunch of things kind of in the nerdy realm, mainly gaming, a little bit of anime, a little bit of Gunpla in there, and we'd love for you to join our community Discord and hang out with us, play some games, be in some videos. Why not? We may play Pico Park again, because that was a great time.
Pride getting mad because I just fucked the entire tower up.
It was beautiful. Awesome. I expect nothing less.
Beautiful.
But anyway, where can the good people find you, Nick?
Yes, so you guys can find me on the WASD and Beyond podcast normally. The past couple weeks I've been off. It's crazy, hectic home life right now. Me and my wife are trying to figure out a few things. But you can find us on Twitter and on Instagram at Beyond WASD. You can find us on Spotify, Apple, and anywhere you listen to podcasts. If you just look up WASD and Beyond, we release episodes every Friday at 7 a.m. If there's news and it's worthy of us taking time out of our day, we will do a Beyond episode. We also sometimes put up YouTube videos when it's convenient. But we are going to be doing gameplay videos with the Diggity podcast, with Build Bros, with our entire Spawn Camp community. So you'll see a lot more of WASD on that front. But yeah, check us out on Spotify, Apple, anywhere you listen to podcasts. You can find WASD and Beyond.
Awesome. We upload every Friday at 5 a.m. in the morning, so you can listen to our audio, or you can watch our YouTube video live on Twitch, on Thursdays at 9 p.m. The YouTube video will stay there. I think the Twitch video stays there for only like 2 weeks because, we're not important enough to actually keep it longer than that. But hey, we're working on it. But
oh my God.
You can always watch it for at least 2 weeks, and if you're listening to it past 2 weeks, you're probably out of the loop anyway. So just given the state of our content, but we appreciate you guys listening, and we will see you next week with more gaming news.